Hi, and welcome to Happy Fisherman Adventures.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.
Today we are going to show you an adventure from last weekend with Ovi and Jerry. It's a 2-day adventure. The first day we went and had our shot at kingfish, a failed shot at kingfish, I guess. And the second day it was only Tibby and Jerry who went out and they smashed the garfish.
My favorite. So actually, it's really good to see how much garfish it's in the bay at the moment. So we were at the old channel trying for snapper, gummy, whatever was going to happen. So we were catching slimy mackerel, we were catching yakkas. Next moment, garfish just they showed up just a meter under the surface. And we were putting all the big rods away, one rod each, and me and Jerry actually had our bag limit. Obviously, we love eating garfish, so that was our priority. But we had a try at kingfish, actually Tuesday. So just before this weekend, last Tuesday, everybody that was in the rip got a fish. It was unbelievable how much kingfish was caught. So unfortunately, we had to work, and we said, let's give it a shot. So what we did?
We did. We went to Mud Island, we got all the liveys, we got a few squid, tiny ones. Then we had got heaps of yakka and mackerel, all in different columns. All the bait fish we had the liveys, we were ready.
And we had a competition.
We did.
Ovi and Jerry, they won with left, and we called them the lefties. And they were competing against Mima, catching obviously the bite fish. So the priority was obviously yakka, that's number one for kingfish, and slimy followed by slimy. So you're gonna be the witness. A pretty disappointing result for Jerry and Ovi. Well, it's Saturday morning, 1st of March, and we are in Queenscliff. Ovi's happy, everybody's happy, and the mission today is to get some liveys and go to the rip. Last Tuesday, there was an unreal action of kingfish, of course, in the rip. There was many boats there, and everybody managed to get a kingfish. So it was really good to see. But saying that, since then, it was quiet. The rip was very quiet. We don't have any reports of kingfish, but we're still gonna give it a crack. Today, with me, there is Mima, Chiquita, Ovi, and the man behind the camera. That's Jerry. Just before we left Queenscliff ramp, we actually had few people waving, talking, and yeah, it's just good to see people are happy, spending a quality time with family on the water. Even that it was a little bit late, there were still plenty boats launching. The car park was full, so we had to park across the road from the train rails, and yeah, we were on our way. Well, first thing first, Chiquita gets her cuddles, and that's the most important. As we were leaving the harbour, there was a little bit of overcast, so I was a bit sus that we're gonna get any squid, but our first destination was Mud Island, the east side of Mud Island actually, and we're gonna try and get some squid. Now, before anything, we had a competition on our hands. So it was the lefties, so Jerry and Ovi, they went with left hand against Mima. Mima did get the first squid on a black jig, we missed to film that, but Jerry changed to a black jig as well, and he's got the next one. Because Jerry's squid was a little bit bigger, they were already celebrating. As you can see, Jerry was very happy. He didn't fish with us for a long time, so he was very happy to be on the boat and catch some fish, catch anything I believe. And then in no time, Jerry gets another one, a little one. Black jig again. So somehow today black jig worked the best. Now there was lefties 2, Mima 1. But it was just the start of competition. They were dancing as a winners, but hey, it was still early in the day. So after we did try hard for squid, we only got 3. So we decided to move and go to our bite area where we catch yakkas and slimy and all the rest of the stuff. Where I didn't even manage to set up my camera, Mima was already on a double. They were yakkas and they were really nice bait size, so it was promising. We put them in the live bait tank as we wanted to keep them alive for the rip, for the kingfish. So in meantime, Ovi gets a slimy mackerel. Okay, that's a good news too. Now the very next fish Ovi gets is actually a flathead. So what happens is every time your sinker hits the bottom here, I can guarantee basically on these little hooks that you're gonna get a flathead. So slimy mackerel about 3 meters under the boat, yakkas about 1 meter off the ground. But if you hit the bottom, that means you're gonna get a flathead or even worse, a benja shark. In the background, Mima was getting yakka like not tomorrow. I was setting up the big rods and putting them out there for a gummy shark or maybe even school shark, something decent. But you're gonna see in the next couple videos that we were not that successful. On the right hand side you can see we got another slimy mackerel, and you know it's a slimy mackerel because it does big circles. And rule number 1 with the slimy mackerel is try to get them in the boat as soon as possible. Now why I'm saying that, you're gonna see in the next video. Now slimy mackerel is actually not bad to eat and Jerry and Ovi likes them. But I will put them in the actual bucket instead of the live bait tank, because if you got too many fish in live bait tank, they're gonna die. There's not gonna be enough oxygen for the lot.
Well, the competition started and it continued in the next video.
Let's watch the next video. Well, competition continues. At this stage, I took my phone, I went live on Facebook to show people where we are and how much baitfish is around. So if they want to go in the rip and get some baitfish, they should come next to us. While I was filming for Facebook, Jerry got his first slimy, but Mima wasn't far behind, so she got one as well. So far, they were not even. Mima somehow stepped ahead by miles, and 2 of them are trying to catch up. As I mentioned before, Ovi, Jerry, Mima's mum love eating slimies, and we're putting the slimies in the bucket because if you put them in the live bait tank, remember, too much fish in live bait tank, there is not enough oxygen. By the time you go from here to the rip, the fish will be dead. Then, because Mima got a slimy mackerel, she tried to drop the line a little bit lower, but once you drop it lower, closer to the bottom, of course, there is a flathead on the line. I did put my Seaview gadget in the water, and you can clearly see here that yakkas are above the ground, 1 meter to 2 meters just above the ground, and that's where they feed. If you drop again the sinker on the bottom, you will most likely get a flathead. Targeting these species, you just need to know the water column where they actually feed. And as I mentioned, 1 meter to 2 meters off the bottom, that is your yakkas. So if you want live bait, that's where you're going to target them. If you want slimies, just keep it about 2 or 3 meters under the boat, and there'll be plenty slimies around. Now I mentioned you have to grab them and bring them in the boat quick, because you can see here, they do big circles, and once they do that, all the rest of the lines, they tangle. So this wasn't a bad tangle, but later on you'll see a really bad one. Also, what I did here, instead of trying to get the sinker and go around and around trying to untangle, you just unclip it from the swivel and it's going to be definitely much easier to get out of this mess. Today's preferred bite was definitely pilchard, so just a small pieces of pilchard and that's it. Yakka loves them. Have a look at the acrobatic moves of the actual slimy mackerel. It just goes all in the circle, runs around like a mad chook. But you have to be quick and bring it straight into the water. And sometimes, like Mima does here, you got two, so it makes it even harder. Saying that, you can see Ovi and Jerry are good observers. They were observing Mima how she just catches fish after fish.
I can't say they didn't catch any, but they didn't catch many.
They actually struggle a bit. And yeah, we had the big rods as well in the water and that. And you can see in underwater footage, there is a lot of banjo. It's a banjo city over there. Unfortunately, when you chase gummy sharks around, you have to go through them. But no gummy sharks for us today. And yeah, Mima was smashing it, double, single. She was just cranking them out. Ovi and
The lefties got tangled all the time and it took them forever
to untangle.
and they ended up chatting. So I don't know what kind of competition that was, but
I think they give up pretty early, so let's watch the next video. At one stage, there was heaps and heaps of slimy mackerel. We could not get past them. Ovi decided to have apple pie, even he was losing big times. Mima was bringing fish after fish, him and Jerry, not so much. Then Ovi loses his rig. To what? To a barracuda. Then, not long after, Jerry gets a slimy mackerel. Mima's comment was, finally he decided to help. On the other hand, Mima and Ovi had a flathead on their line. The big rods, they had consistent nibbles. We had fresh bite, we had fresh yakka, we had fresh slimys, but those kind of nibbles, definitely not a gummy shark. As I mentioned before, at this stage, slimy mackerel was dominating. There were so many of them, it was ridiculous. The smaller ones we would put in the live bait tank, but the bigger one we put them away for feed. At Mud Island, there is quite a few different species that you get over the different seasons, but you cannot miss to get a banjo shark. Those buggers are so many around, it's ridiculous. I mean, we don't want them, nobody wants them, but hey, it's their territory, you have to respect that. Pick them up, bring them up, let them go. The funny thing about them, that sometimes the bait is huge, but they still take it. As I released my one, Ovi was on another one, and this time even bigger. It's good fun to fight them, I suppose, and have fun with them, but as I say, to us they're useless, so you have to just unhook them and let them go. With banjos you don't use the gaff, just grab them by the tail and bring them up. They can't hurt you, there is nothing there that actually can spike you. And then this happened. Ovi got a slimy mackerel. He didn't bring it fast enough in the boat, so what do you think that fish did? Went all around Jerry's line, so after that everything was tangled. It was a really bad tangle. This one actually managed to wrap his tail into Jerry's braid, and that's so hard to untangle, it's ridiculous because it goes all over the place. So for the next half an hour you can imagine what Jerry and Ovi were doing. Mima, who sat down to have a bit of rest, guess what? She had to get up and start fishing again, just so we can actually grab some more liveys, especially yakkas. We were after yakkas, so we can have enough fish when we get to the rip. On Jerry's tangled line, there was a slimy mackerel as well. And while I was setting up the big bites and putting them back in, Mima was plucking slimy mackerel left, right and center. The knife was out, or he was cutting the lines, and they had to redo all their rigs from scratch.
Well, we had heaps of bait, we could not catch a gummy, and it was time to go to the rip because it was a tide change.
Yeah, normally we fish the top of the tide, so when the tides start to turn and go out, that's where we fish for kingfish. But anyway, we end up going there. It was a good lookout, I suppose. So Baywatch. So let's watch the next video. Well, here's our situation. Mima brings fish in, always watching. Jerry tries to untangle everything, and then I cop the rod, so I have to connect the leader to the bride. So once more, I'm gonna repeat myself. When you catch a slimy mackerel, make sure you bring it in the boat fast, away from the rest of the rods. Don't play with that because it's going to tangle everything. When I got home and I started editing the footage, I seen that we missed this. We had a squid underneath the boat. We had a jig before, but when the slimy mackerel popped up, we took that rod out of the way. Otherwise, it would be nightmare. But even 11-12 meters, this ground here, it's awesome for squid. If you see what Mima's doing at the moment, you don't blame Jerry and Ovi that they didn't want to know the score. I know we call them lefties because they wind with left hand, but I think Mima called them losers. Another fact to mention is that we basically got a ratio of 7 to 8 slimy mackerels to 1 yakka. So yakkas were a little bit harder to catch, maybe because slimy mackerel were very hungry or it was more of them down there. In the meantime, all the rods were back in action, so Ovi and Jerry were catching, and Mima decided to go with Chiquita and just lie down. In this picture you can see we're in about 10 meters of water and there was heaps of bait around. At this stage it was time to pack up and take the liveys to the rip. I have to say we were happy, we were excited, but our expectations I think were high. Considering that there was no reports of kingfish in the rip for the last 3-4 days. Anyway, we still went just to give it a go. The rip is definitely a funny place. In some places it's flat, in some places the water's boiling, there is swirls. So you just have to be careful and really take care here. Just be cautious. My friends Zach and Riley, they were already here. We gave them some live bait and that to try. But they couldn't sound any fish, we couldn't sound any fish. I scanned the rip up and down, I even passed through the rip and back. In a 50 meters, in a 30 meters, in a 90 meters, it did not matter. The sounder was blank, we had no show. For us, obviously no fun, but there was a seal, and he always has fun around here. And if you catch a fish while you're in the rip, don't worry, that's the Texman. Anyway, after about half an hour scanning, looking around, there was nothing there. So it was time to pack up and call the day.
All right, the famous question, where is the fish?
Everywhere. Guys, Bermagui on fire with Marlin, but the weather is shocking for
This
the weekend. There is a competition there. Our boys from work, Jake and all the boys are gone and it is a little bit scary, but hope they stay safe. So, coming back from Bermagui Lake's entrance, Dima, our friend Dima, is already on a beautiful swordfish. We saw a picture the other day and That's amazing. Western Port, Brett Reeds and the boys are getting really, really good King George whiting. Now, as far as Port Phillip Bay, we had hit and miss, but Garfish is in, so we don't care. There is Garfish around the Long Reef on the Werribee side. There is Garfish along the Swan Bay. There is Garfish at the, obviously, old channel where me and Jerry were catching them. And I have to be honest, you need to try. They're fiddly to catch. They're not easy. But when you catch them, great. And then eating quality, I think that's my best. Port Phillip Bay, I think that's, for me, that's number one.
Favorite, yes.
It is a favorite. And where are we going?
Portland.
So we're on the way today to Portland. And yeah, this weekend, it's a long weekend. We're going to spend the weekend there. We're going to catch up, hopefully, with Bray Aqua and with Matt Sini and all the boys. And so, wish us good luck.
Well, as you can see behind us, Jerry gave up.
Guys, again, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you for your support. Thanks people that purchase our t-shirts, our hoodies. Thank you heaps.
And once again, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, commenting and liking the video. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish. And I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman. And I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.